Hey, what up, y'all? Mike F here. One day at a time, Addict for Addicts podcast. We like to start off with like a quote or saying something like that. So the one I picked for today, surrender means not having to fight anymore. We accept our addiction and the life the way it is. So before I guess I even start talking, things might get a little wicked and go left at certain points of this, and just a little heads up, all right. So accept our addiction. So about 2 weeks ago, that's no secret. Two people that became part of my process, I became part of that process. No longer with us. I wish I could say their names, but that the families really don't want that right now, and you gotta respect that. So I took it personal. This whole thing is personal for me, and people told me, you shouldn't take it personal, prepare yourself for it, and I just can't do that. I just can't, I can't be half in, half out. And, these last 2 weeks I did some self-reflecting, and, points of it I was half in and half out with it, and this is not going to work for me if I'm half in, half out. You know what I'm saying? And this is mostly for me, this podcast. This is the letting it out, because when I was away, I wrote down my distractions, and then like a way to deal with the distractions, and I still stay with it from here and there. And one of my biggest distractions is my ego. He's one of the biggest distractions. So I guess one of my ways to deal with that distraction is by making these videos. I have to constantly at times humble myself, the self-entitlement starts coming in, and the addictive behavior, the impulse, and I gotta constantly check myself. So when I lost these two people, this self-reflecting came, and it was wicked. 6 days went by. I think I might have slept a total of like 4 hours. 4 hours. So and the word relapse is, people use the word relapse. I guess the definition of, I think I got it right here, the act or an instance of backsliding, worsening, or subsiding. I guess that's that definition of it. Me, the word relapse is using it in it's like a reservation to me. Relapse to me is you get high, you're staying in the belly of the beast. Things that you got back in your life that you lost, and now that you clean, you start losing again. To me, that's a relapse. You know what I'm saying? I don't count clean days. And if I'm saying nothing I say on this, if I say I'm doing it and you're doing something different, mine ain't right, your ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It's not me saying mine is right and yours is wrong. I just want to get that out there. So the counting the clean days for me, with some people, I feel like it just, when I speak to them, that's it's all about that number. For me, the sobriety, this is a mindset. It's not a number. We're not addicts because we use drugs. We use drugs because we were addicts. The first time I got clean, I thought it was the drugs. You know what I'm saying? So I just stopped the drugs after the honeymoon phase, and people's, after that was over, the behavior still was there the whole time. So it was right back on it. So this time around, I just don't give it a number, because I just don't want it to have that. It really don't fucking matter what the number is, to be honest with you. Let's be real for a second, because a person with 1 day clean and a person with 15 days clean could both go get high right now. So it really is a number, but if that's what's working for you, then that's what's working for you. And that's why I'm saying this, because there's things that are working for people, and NA works for people, AA works for people. The NA has their guidelines, AA has their guidelines, and then there's a whole bunch of us I'm calling up in purgatory in the middle, because there's some of us. I spoke to a gentleman yesterday, I guess, a big heroin addict, when heroin, he's an older man, maybe in his 60s or something, heroin addict, crack addict, and we're speaking, and, he's saying he's been clean, so, and then I start telling him, I smoke weed. And then, as soon as I said that, it's like a weight came off his shoulders, because he said, yeah, well, that's, the only thing I've been doing for the last 30 years. So, do you consider him not being sober? Because he he's smoking weed, but he's not doing his vice. You know what I'm saying? So now this is the conversation I want to have, because there's a lot of us out there. There's people out there that are doing it. There's people out there that are not getting high but smoking weed, but don't feel like they're in recovery. They're lost in this purgatory, I guess, place, because NA and AA really ain't gonna like really go with that. But let's be real and honest for a second too. Let's keep it 100. There's people in both their meetings that are smoking weed and having drinks on the weekend. Let's keep it a buck too. So this is where I'm going with this. All right. You're smoking weed, you're drinking, and you know what I'm saying. It's. I know it sounds wicked. It just getting ready to say it sounds wicked, because you hear an addict say this, and it's just not good business. But I'm telling you right now, if you're smoking weed and let's say your drug of choice was dope or something, you're not doing dope, but you're smoking weed, you got family here at Inspire to Inspire. If you're getting high, you got family here at Inspire to Inspire. We're working on getting places to maybe like facilitate our own groups. You know what I'm saying? So things are in place. Like I said, it's going to be wicked going left and right. Inspired to Inspire is coming out with a documentary. I don't know if, I guess people seen the little video I put on the YouTube channel. So this is basically what it was going to start as. Now things are changing. So it was going to start as, the title of it is I Am, ... And I wanted to get people to share their stories. And me and my team, we were going to pick a story from each borough. And, you know, we were going to film it. You know, we were going to film your story, maybe if you were in the Bronx, maybe at a park, you know, somewhere around there where you got high. But the sponsors are so, like, I guess, enthusiastic with it. They're actually giving us some funds where we're actually going to be being able to pay you for your service. So not only are you going to tell your story, which is money in itself, because you don't have no idea how many people that story is going to help. You're also going to get paid for your service. And at the same time, we're coming out with the clothing line. So you're also going to be getting clothes to be able to wear during the documentary and then keep afterwards. So I need people to start sending in their stories. But this is where now things are getting changed, because I got like 3 stories from people in Norway and 2 people in Australia now. So now like it's going to be 5 stories, and I think when I get to maybe 20 or 25 stories, we'll stop, and my team and I will go through it. But one thing that will happen, and this is just dope, things are just going really well for us right now. January 18th is my birthday. I was going to go to Colorado, with my friends for my birthday. Things, the way they look right now, it's going to be able to, one of like the sponsors of the show has a property upstate, and might be able to bring myself and 5 other people upstate. I'm going to call it, so we're snowboarding. But and now with things going through, trying to work out, see if we just get the whole shit exclusive for you. Like even with the equipment and everything like that. But back to the documentary. So now I want to film people from their neighborhood. So now if someone gets picked that's out of country, it's going to be done through Zoom. My man Lewis, he's the cameraman. My man definitely dope with it. I can't wait to do some projects with him. But what is going to happen now, this snowboarding thing, everyone that submits a story is going to go into the raffle. So, like, if you don't get picked for the documentary, your name is still going into the hat for the snowboarding. So that's what's going on with that. So I just wanted to get that out there. So now, when my friends passed away, the self-reflecting, I had to start asking myself my intentions and have to be real honest. And it was real easy to be honest with myself because I was already in my bag. I was already in my feelings. So the intentions, like this is about the message, not a message. I feel like I was not going there yet, but I was going towards like the manipulating myself to make it a message, make this shit mine. This shit is not mine. It will never be mine. This is me giving it. You know what I'm saying? I need to give it in order to keep it. So I had to reevaluate why I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? And now the second guessing started happening. And now I'm in my feelings and I'm taking it personal because I've done more. And people said I shouldn't have felt that way. But you know what? Both these people deserved me to feel that way for them because that's how much they meant in my life. And I just met them. But nowadays when I just meet people and they become part of my process, it's different than who I was 35 years ago. My heart is different, my mindset is different, my eyes are open differently, I'm thinking differently, I'm talking differently, everything is different now. So if you become part of this process, it's very personal to me. So they deserved me to be like that. But then now there's things that happen. This is why I speak about the relapse, and I speak about the, keeping the count on the clean time, cause it all leading up to somewhere. So now 6 days go by, I'm not sleeping. All right, 4 hours in 6 days. I'm telling you, insomnia is that it is some shit. I'm being real honest with you. So I popped 2 perks. So now that's the relapse, right? That's what we're gonna call a relapse, right? So I'm gonna get back to it real quick. So I popped 2 perks. Want to sleep? Popped the 2 perks. Sleep didn't happen because now the perks hit in. The time is so low. I haven't done pills in so fucking long. So now it kicked in. So now I wanted to enjoy the feeling because I'm in my feelings, right? So now this is, I can't do this unless I'm 100% honest with everything that's going on in my life. So I'm not gonna say people's names, but things I fuck up, and yeah, I'm not perfect, and I'm not acting like I'm some kind of fucking recovery guru, because that's not what this shit is. And if you're taking it that way, I apologize, because that's not. This is me sharing my experiences to try and inspire you to make something in your life work your way, not my way, your way. Hey Michelle, how are you?
Hey, how are ya?
I'm well. How's things going?
They are going,
Yes.
going in this crazy world.
Yes. So we're actually recording. So I just want to introduce you to the audience. Everybody, this is Michelle. Her and I met through Instagram. Very inspirational. I'm gonna give her the floor. She's gonna talk to us about codependency. Michelle, I just got a definition of it. I'm gonna read out to them, and then you can let me know if you agree with it, or you give your own definition of codependency. So it's a psychological condition or a relationship in which a person is controlled or manipulated by another who is affected with a pathological condition such as an addiction to alcohol or drugs. That makes sense, Michelle?
Yes, it does. And it's also, like a psychological, emotional dependence on, yes, another person. So typically, when you're in like the program or whatever, there's like, if you've been married to or been in a relationship, or even with children and parents and whatever the family dynamic is, it's usually like, the addict is in like recovery, in AA or NA, and then the parent, the child, the spouse, or whatever is in like Al-Anon. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it totally goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? And it doesn't always have to fall, of course, in that category. I mean, like for me specifically speaking, I just I'm a very codependent person because of the trauma that I've endured in my life, growing up. And so I didn't really necessarily grow up in like an alcoholic, family or anything like that, but I grew up in a very abusive home, emotionally, and then as things, grew on from there, things became, sexually, like physically, like the whole 9 yards. And then I just developed like this personal sense that like I wasn't okay. I never trusted my own judgment or myself. So I was always like that self-reliant person. Like I'm okay if you think I'm okay. You know what I mean? And so I was always attached to, for me it was men. It was like relationships in my life, and that's like that could be like a whole nother podcast, but specifically like for me on the codependency was just always with partners. And sadly, the partners that were in my life, and the crowd that I hung out with, it was like, they were all addicts. Everybody. So I personally like totally relate to that dynamic, with the codependent and then and the addict, and this like, the love affair between the two of them, because without each other, it's like the codependent's like the enabler, you know.
I got it.
And then, you know, I mean, but the addict is codependent too on the drug. So I mean,
I think, yeah, like I was gonna say, I think with addicts, you know, like the codependency is just for you two to get the drugs. It's not even like has nothing to do with like feelings or relationship with each other no more. I was in a relationship like that. It got toxic to the point maybe the last 2 years we were, I guess, considered in a relationship, but it was a codependent to get the drugs. Like who's getting the money today?
Right. Right. Like it's a total destructive relationship, and it's so broad in spectrum. You know what I mean? Like it can pertain to so many different things. You know, but the end result, sadly, is just two very unhealed individuals, or an individual being, you know, reliant upon something or somebody, you know, for, you know, like we said, like either the drugs, or, you know, a feeling of, you know, giving that person like a false sense of like identity. And that's where it fell in for me, per se.
So looking at the definition, so like codependency, is everyone, I guess, then considered codependent on something in their life? Is that something that could be said?
I think that the human condition we're built for connection.
Okay.
So of course, right? You know, we that's just in our wiring. But I think, you know, where the healing comes in, and where it's like, you know, we have to make conscious decisions as we get older and mature on whether those things, you know, are toxic or not. You know what I'm saying? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, like getting into, I mean, like a baby, when it's born, it cannot fend for itself. It is completely self-reliant. I mean, even in the womb, it's completely self-reliant on, you know, the mother, to provide everything for it, you know? And so, I mean, that's, you know, yeah, it's part of the human condition. But I think when we kind of like, you know, whoever came up with the term, you know, codependency, and all these traits, it was through, you know, analyzing and, you know, and watching human behavior. And it comes down to the essence of human behavior and the destructive portions of it. And so that's where the codependency is. It's a destructive pattern. And so that's, you know, that's what we need to, you know, recognize, and that's what we're all in the struggle to break these bad toxic traits.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So like nowadays, you know, I guess with the, you know, my newfound, I guess, sobriety in a sense, I like to get wicked with words. So I like to ask questions. You know, there's such thing as good addictions. You know, like ask people them questions. So could that go the same for this? Is there such thing as good? Are there such things that are good to be codependent on?
You know what? I think yes. I mean, I just talked about this last night. I literally just did a podcast similar to what we're talking about on passive aggressive behavior. You
Okay.
know, a positive passive aggressive behavior. Because what happens is, like, yes, I mean, you are, you know, trading. I mean, just the healing portion of it. I mean, it's just like when you were trying to fight to get the drug, right, or the drink, or whatever the case may be, you know, as an addict, right? You replace that with now, you know, you're in the you know, if you're in the program, some people don't do the program, some do. You have a sponsor, you know, you're accountable. You have to be accountable now in a positive way. And yes, those are things that, you know, you need every single day. If you're the type of person that, you know, can't do it on your, you know, I mean, you can't do it on your own. Without this, you know that the chances of you going back to your addiction or whatever the case may be, food, it could be anything, sex, whatever, that you're going to fall short if you don't follow a positive structure. So yeah, I don't necessarily know that I would call that codependency, because for me, the term codependency is a negative trait.
Okay.
I would I would consider that, that healing.
Okay.
Healing, whatever you want to call it. But I don't necessarily think that it's, if you analyze it and you really want to be politically correct, I just don't think codependency falls in we could call it something else,
Okay. Do you, most people with PTSD, are they codependent?
I can only speak for myself and
Okay.
other people and everything that I've read, but post-traumatic stress syndrome, it can be coupled with so many different things. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think that every single person that has PTSD is codependent. You could be somebody who fought in, a war in Afghanistan and, you had to, kill people or saw your brothers being killed. I don't necessarily think they're, codependent per se. But, I think that trauma, I think that emotion, for me, I feel that emotional abuse, where, it starts at an early age or at a very diabolical point in a youngster's life where they don't, where they're trying to figure out who they are, where their voices are, their development, okay, crucial development years, when you're emotionally, abused, verbally, physically, sexually, whatever the case may be, you're robbed. You're completely robbed of your self-identity because, your dialogue becomes, I'm worthless. I'm being treated this way because I'm a piece of shit. Something in your brain is taking your identity away from you. So now you identify with, these fucking people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which makes sense, because I was just reading I think an article 2-3 days ago about like the human brain and how it it's meant for survival, and whenever we hit something in our life that's uncomfortable, we have like 5 seconds before our brain takes over and makes a decision to get us out of that uncomfortable, like someone working out. People don't like to work out because when it gets uncomfortable, they allow their brain to then take over that decision and put them in a comfortable situation. So like what you just said, I'm a piece of shit. Like the brain after a while probably did that, so that's what made that person feel comfortable.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like when you're a kid, right, where are you gonna go? You can't
Facts.
go, you know what, I'm out of here, like I'm an adult now, so yeah, when I see a red flag, sure, I can bounce. When you're a little kid, you have no recourse. You're dependent upon the people that are raising you, or whatever that looks like.
You don't know anything else. You don't know anything else. But
we don't know anything else, So, look at in some of the most extreme cases. The brain, and I talk about this too, because the brain is so fascinating. Everyone thinks that like multiple personality disorder, or, schizophrenia and all these things are, like people. And I guess that some people are totally born with, I haven't done all the statistical data, but from what I've read, a lot of these people, especially with multiple personality disorder, these people have endured, maybe 98% of these people have endured some of the most extreme cases of abuse. And so their brain, remarkably, creates these other people so that they can cope. It's wired for survival. Our bodies, our brains, they want to live.
yes.
So it is remarkable what happens, what happens with the brain. One thing I want to interject, and it kind of like came, and maybe this will resonate with some of your listeners, and maybe even you, but I kind of had an epiphany because I was like, what? Everyone always says, when I was in abusive relationships or just in these really toxic places in my life, everyone would always say, well, you're getting something out of it, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't want this, you know what I mean?
Yes, of
I'm not
course.
choosing, like, this is like, I'm scared to leave, and there's a gazillion reasons why people do what they do. But, when I was thinking about this, I don't know, a couple months ago, there is something I was getting out of it, and a light bulb went off, and, it was like, it's confirmation. So through my own codependency and me not, always struggling with self-identity and being okay, and not having to, per se, I don't know, kind of like taking care of other people.
I got you. I got what you're saying.
Somewhere along the line, what I realized though is that when the abuser is telling me, hey, you're a piece of shit, or they treat you badly, it was just confirmation of what my internal dialogue, my trauma demon.
Yes.
It was like, okay, well, yeah, you are a piece of shit. You deserve this. So that's what I was getting out of it was, yeah, I internally feel like a piece of shit. I don't deserve better than this treatment.
Yes. I mean, I could definitely identify. I guess the way I go about it is now like my worst moments in the moment was the worst moment, but now looking back at it, I have such an appreciation for it. I still don't like the moment, but I appreciate the moment. Like my worst moment actually turned out to be right now the best moment in my life. It's what got me where I am today. But in the moment, we're not going to see it. Like it has to, I guess, be something that I see later on. And then when I see it later on, then I backtrack to all the thoughts that then came after that. And then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and stronger. So I could definitely identify with what you're saying.
It's a blessing, honestly, for survivors, because we have, I mean, just in our traumas. I mean, you're all the way in New York. I'm in Las Vegas. We had no prior connection to any of this. So through our struggle and where we are, both of us right now at that pivotal moment, I mean, connected to people who are on opposite sides of the United States.
And on opposite sides of the whole spectrum in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are and that's a blessing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But before we separate, I do want you to introduce yourself to my listeners. Let them know about your podcast. If you want to give them your IG handle. So I just want to thank you for coming on the show. Me and my man Lopo right here. Lopo, say hello to Michelle.
Thank you for coming on.
Okay, yes, thank you.
So Michelle, the floor is all yours. Introduce yourself to the Inspired to Inspire audience.
Yes, I'm Michelle Love, and my podcast show is on Spreaker.com. You can just literally Google my name, just The Silent Theory with Michelle Love, and you can listen to it through Google. It's on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Some of these you have to sign up for. If you don't want to sign up for anything, then you can listen in on Spotify. But I'm on Instagram, also Twitter, and then I have a private Facebook page called The Silent Theory with Michelle Love. So, I mean, any of those platforms, anybody can hit me up, and I would love to collab with anybody who wants to, be a part of it and share their story. Because I really feel that sharing is definitely saving, even if it's just one listener, one life, you know what I'm saying? So Thank you so much.
And I definitely will, Michelle will be tagged and everything, once it starts coming out in the next day or so. But Michelle, thank you so much. We'll definitely be talking again in the near future. I appreciate you very much.
Yes, God bless you, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
This is an addict, can't do it. Fuck you. Now let's pay some bills. So I just want to let y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Bagel Cafe over in Howard Beach, 16254 Cross Bay Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? My man Jay, my man Mickey. This is their little pen. My man Jay, my man Mickey have really good business going on there. If you ever want to order, they deliver. Uber Eats, they do it all. Their phone number 718-843-5700. Again, that's 718-843-5700. Or you can hit them up online, www.hbbagelcafe.com.
Again, you know what I'm saying? My girl Maria there, she a manager. You can let them know you spoke to Mike, aka Sunshine. My favorite meal there is probably their chicken parm panini. So Bagel Cafe, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you ever down on the Cross Bay Boulevard, Howard Beach, you know what I'm saying? You're going to the beach in the summer. You know what I'm saying? Really check out their food. Really dope place.
Now, getting back, so my ego, right? My ego's biggest trigger, makes me lose focus. So in order for me to tame it and bring it down, I gotta humble it. So I'm about to humble my motherfucking ego right now, because that's not what maybe do, because you still make the choices, but the ego is a part of it. So the night I take the perks, I must have texted a girl I was talking to, right? Dope girl, mad cool girl. Chilled with her maybe like 2 days prior. I guess the text started coming out wicked, which is gonna happen. Like it's inevitable. But not only did I send like wicked texts, I kept like going with it and then trying to justify it like I'm good or something, like, and just kept going, just kept making it look worse and worse and worse. And I guess, and you can't blame the person, because people judge you on your actions, and my past is my past, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be compared to it right now, and that's rightfully so, which is cool with me anyway. So I look probably like a total like fake, you know what I'm saying, like both, like everything I'm saying is bullshit, which is, you know what I'm saying, which is definitely not what happened. So long story short, not talking to the girl no more, and that's just one day. So like the relapse, don't get me wrong here. Like I don't consider it a relapse. I really don't consider a relapse, and I'm not saying that to like be in denial or anything like that. I don't consider a relapse because it was that night, and the next morning I didn't wake up and say I did it again. You know what I'm saying? And everything's all fucked up, because everything's not all fucked up. Just like I said in the video the other day, like 86,000 seconds in a day. You know what I'm saying? If you had $86,000 and someone took $10 away, you're going to throw away the rest of the money? No. So there's 86,000 seconds in a day. 10 seconds of it gets fucked up. You're going to throw away the rest of the day? No. So my addiction is, I guess, it's a blessing in a sense for all of us. And I'll give an example. What an addict that gets better and then gets recovered has more options these days, at no matter what their age is. 30, 40, 50. If you clean your life up, there's opportunities that come your way. So like the addiction is a blessing in a sense that it gives us opportunities. But I'm not looking back on this. Like this is I've things in my life now, I find the silver lining things out of it. It happened. I can't change it. It's for reference, not residence, to pass. I can't do nothing about it, but I can do something about it today to fix yesterday. But this was like maybe 2.5 weeks ago. But them 2 weeks, the reevaluation and just thinking where my mind's at, and just the second guessing. And where I fucked up is I stopped reaching out to a lot of people. And the phone went down, and then the videos went down, and it's these little things that you start to take out of your life. And like grit is doing things you don't want to do. Since that day, that next morning, like everything, the little things I don't want to do, like waking up 2 o'clock in the morning, you gotta go take a piss, you don't want to get out of bed and walk to the bathroom, I no longer stay in the bed. Like I get up and get out now. So like it happened. All right, but it's not happening. It happened. It's not happening, and it's I'm better for it. So this is what I'm trying to say with the relapse. Don't give up everything. There's no reason for it. They say it's part of the process. You want to take it like that. Like my hiccup. Like I want to say, you could learn from my hiccup and not make it your hiccup. That's what this whole thing is for. That's why I want people to share their stories. So you could learn from someone else's mistake, like a wise man instead of a fool, and learn, from your own. So my heart needs to be in this 100%. So like there is there's no more half in, half out. You know what I'm saying? Mistakes are gonna be made. I'm gonna make mistakes. Some days I'm gonna make them. Some days I'm not. But my ego will not let me not tell y'all this. That is not going to happen. I will not let that happen. That's why I need this. This is my way of putting him in check. So look out for your ego. Look out for the things that you're telling yourself. You know, like the decisions, like the word power is broken down into an acronym. You know, it's prepare, organize, work, evaluate, and then rethink. So like before decisions are made, like I stopped doing all these things. You know, like you get out, you get back into the flow of life, and you slip. But it's all right because I slip, but this time around ain't like the other times. I have a team around me. I had people around me. I had people hitting me up. You know what I'm saying? Like it was dark, but it wasn't dark like that. You know what I'm saying? But I had good things in place for me. I prepared as best as my ability for that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like I prepared for what I think I might have needed, and you know you're always gonna miss something. But where I'm missing, I'm lacking with the people around me. The people around me are very important. The people put around you are very important. So I want people to like reevaluate who's around them, where they going, because my loyalty, like I said, has an expiration date. So this is another thing with wanting to start a conversation with addicts and non-addicts. Right, I'm gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here to talk about bad about my family. It's not what I do. But what I don't understand is where did we lose compassion just as humanity in general? People want compassion when something happens to them, but then when they do something like family, like I'm gonna tell it real right now. My family lives in Red Hook on Peyton Place. That's where my fucking family is, because you see progress. And this is where I guess there's no gray area with some people that don't understand addiction. There's progress. There's a hiccup. So your mindset on the hiccup is to turn your back on the fucking person and walk away. What kind of fucking like thought pipe? Where's the fucking compassion? That's what I want to know. Where the fuck is the compassion? You want to say you got someone's back. You're not family is through thick and thin. Not when shit's going good and then when shit goes bad, you want to turn your back. So you know what? The loyalty has an expiration date and your shit just got expired. Because I'm not moving that way. I'm not walking that way. I'm not doing that. I would never do that to anybody. Ever. So it's expired. Expired. And that's what's going to have to go through this process. How I'm going to have to get through this process. I'm going to have to get selfish with it. Because you know what? Like, what the fuck is that? So you only going to rock with me when shit's going good? But when your shit's going bad, you want to call me to come and help? Right, yeah. No. So that's how this is going to go. Real selfish. I have to get real selfish with it because you know what? I'm fucking worth it. I'm not tolerating underachieving no more. I just can't. I owe it to myself for just one time of fucking life to try the hardest and see where it goes. Or just try the hardest. Where it goes, it goes. It's inevitable, right? But just try the hardest. The outcome ain't in my, you know, the effort is in my control. I just gotta try it once. This underachieving shit there hasn't worked. And I know there's people out there that feel the same way. So that's what this, I wanted this, you know, I had something else planned for the podcast, but, you know, with things going on, and I just have to be honest. This has to come from here. If it ain't coming from here, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for fame. It's not for that. This ain't mine. This is ours. So once again, if you're smoking weed and you're drinking and, you know what I'm saying, like you don't feel like you're in recovery, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. If you're someone from NA or NAAA or a spokesperson, please call me a Lopo. I would love to have you on the conversation couch next week via phone. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I never did the steps. I never did the meeting. So this is just my perspective of it. I respect anyone's opinion because I want you to respect mine. We could have a difference of opinions and have a conversation, not an argument. I don't take things personal because it doesn't need to be taken personal. It really doesn't. It's just a fucking opinion. So if you NAAA, you know, spokesperson, please 646-923-4711. Mike MIKE Fiore FIORE 118 at gmail.com or DM me. But don't minimize any progress, all right? If you're smoking weed and that helps you, then that helps you, all right? If you're getting high and you don't want to stop getting high, I need to talk to you too because I need to go back to that place sometime. I need to be reminded because those are all yets. So I want to hear from everybody and I want to hear your stories because we want to get this ball rolling, get this documentary going so we can go hit them skis, all right? Thank you, y'all. Love you. All right, y'all. So, one of the, you know, best parts of the show right now is the Poetry Corner. So we have a newcomer shared something this week that I'm gonna get to share with you guys. Should be tagged in the podcast, the video, and everything. My girl Jenna. So all right, let's do it. I write until my hands bleed with dexterity. Because if I stop writing, I stop the release, and eventually my emotions would spill over into chaotic rituals that would hurt me in ways more painful than the knife you would put in my back if I confided in you. About my cutting in my throat, tearing bulimia and anorexic mind. Because if I stop using my pen as a paintbrush and my paper as a playground, I may lose my shit, and that would turn into my 100th breakdown, in which you could do nothing about. As I sit there in confusion, filled with delusions swirling in my head, seeing things in only red, I stop. I think you misread. So don't break my pens or my pencils or tear my books apart, because then I would have to face that of which is myself, and I can't deal with myself without my canvas. I am incomplete and broken without the ink running through my veins like the blood that ran through the cuts I made on my own body. And my body's bruised with scars and track marks that lead to nowhere. Nowhere is an infinite destination that clouds my mind and builds up with pressure. The fucking pressure. How much pressure do I use before my pencil snaps? Clicking, I keep clicking that fucking pen. Emotions scrambled up into endless words. Words with no meaning, no real meaning. But the thing is, it's all I am. Jenna, super dope. I appreciate you. Jenna's gonna probably be on here every week. She's showing me a few books. Jenna could probably give us poems for the next maybe 80 years. But only kidding. Jenna, I appreciate you. So up next is Nikki. You know, you guys know Nikki. You know, Nikki's familiar with the show. Let me drink some raw water real quick. Alright. The cuts, scars, and bruises weren't all that bad. Escaping my pain was the only thing I had. Knife in one hand, needle in the other. Just one favor, please don't tell my mother. The line is wearing thin and the pressure's beating down. With all the stress, I'm just ready to drown. Got two beautiful girls looking up at me, and I just keep thinking when they're older, where they'll be. Will they follow in the same footsteps as me? I scream at the door and tears flow down. All I could think of is drown in silence. But how? I choose the knife and it's silence for good. I choose the needle and it's only silence for now. But once again, here we are in the darkest of rooms, not even letting the light in to flower to bloom. And that's a choice I can make. It's like my demons sneak up on me like a snake. One overdose every other day. There has to be another way. How long can I keep this up? And here I am again. We're all desperate and broken, given the same dilemma. Do I surrender or do I take my will back? Thoughts racing through my head as I grab my last bag. Wait, I'm almost out? Here comes the panic attack I'm not ready to feel. I found a way of staying numb. I don't have to look in the mirror to see what have I become. But I look anyway. And you know what I see? That it isn't only me I'm running from. Do you know what happens when you finally look in the mirror? I see me from where I began to where I am now. And I realize I can start again, and whatever pain may come, today this ends. I'll face myself to cross out what I've become, erase my darkness and let go of what I've done, because you don't have to fly high to get close to the sun. Nikki, fire, Nikki. I appreciate both you guys, Nikki and Jenna. We got one more segment coming up, the one live forever. So that'll be coming up right next. All right, y'all. So one of the best parts of the show right now is the poetry corner. So we have a newcomer shared something this week that I'm gonna get to share with you guys. Should be tagged in the podcast, the video, and everything. My girl Jenna. So all right, let's do it. I write until my hands bleed with dexterity. Because if I stop writing, I stop the release, and eventually my emotions would spill over into chaotic rituals that would hurt me in ways more painful than the knife you would put in my back if I confided in you. About my cutting in my throat, tearing bulimia and anorexic mind. Because if I stop using my pen as a paintbrush and my paper as a playground, I may lose my shit, and that would turn into my 100th breakdown, in which you could do nothing about. As I sit there in confusion, filled with delusions swirling in my head, seeing things in only red, I stop. I think you misread. So don't break my pens or my pencils or tear my books apart, because then I would have to face that of which is myself, and I can't deal with myself without my canvas. I am incomplete and broken without the ink running through my veins like the blood that ran through the cuts I made on my own body. And my body's bruised with scars and track marks that lead to nowhere. Nowhere is an infinite destination that clouds my mind and builds up with pressure. The fucking pressure. How much How much pressure do I use before my pencil snaps? Clicking, clicking, I keep clicking that fucking pen. Emotion scrambled up into endless words. Words with no meaning, no real meaning. But the thing is, it's all I am. Jenna, super dope. I appreciate you. Jenna's gonna probably be on here every week. She showed me a few books. Jenna could probably give us poems for the next maybe 80 years. But only kidding. Jenna, I appreciate you. So up next is Nikki. You know, you guys know Nikki. You know, Nikki's familiar with the show. Let me drink some raw water real quick. Alright. The cuts, scars, and bruises weren't all that bad. Escaping my pain was the only thing I had. Knife in one hand, needle in the other. Just one favor, please don't tell my mother. The line is wearing thin and the pressure's beating down. With all the stress, I'm just ready to drown. Got two beautiful girls looking up at me, and I just keep thinking when they're older, where they'll be. Will they follow in the same footsteps as me? I scream at the door and tears flow down. All I could think of is drown in silence. But how? I choose the knife and it's silence for good. I choose the needle and it's only silence for now. But once again, here we are in the darkest of rooms, not even letting the light in to flower to bloom. And that's a choice I can make. It's like my demons sneak up on me like a snake. One overdose every other day. There has to be another way. How long can I keep this up? And here I am again. We're all desperate and broken, given the same dilemma. Do I surrender or do I take my will back? Thoughts racing through my head as I grab my last bag. Wait, I'm almost out? Here comes the panic attack. I'm not ready to feel. I found a way of staying numb. I don't have to look in the mirror to see what have I become. But I look anyway. And you know what I see? That it isn't only me I'm running from. Do you know what happens when you finally look in the mirror? I see me from where I began to where I am now. And I realize I could start again, and whatever pain may come, today this ends. I'll face myself to cross out what I've become, erase my darkness and let go of what I've done, because you don't have to fly high to get close to the sun. Nikki, fire, Nikki. I appreciate both you guys, Nikki and Jenna. We got one more segment coming up, the one Live Forever. So that'll be coming up right next. All right, yeah. So this is the last segment of the day. Called Live Forever. It's a dedication to the two friends I've lost. Basically, it's people who lost to overdose, friends, family, loved ones. More than welcome to send in any names, anything about the person you want to say. We'll say it here on the podcast. If the names come in, on a frequent, then we'll do it every day. But I guess in light of, losing my two friends, I guess the physical sense of them, you died twice. Once you put in the ground, last time your name is said. I wanted to bring back life today. So the names that we're going to say today probably haven't been said in a long time. They've probably been forgotten for a long time. But we're bringing them back to life here in 2020 because 2020 has been wicked enough. So why not? Let's get super fucking wicked. So here we go. So first is Francois Alsop from 1782 to 1821. He was 38 years old. And he overdosed on ether. 1782. So Abraham Angel. 1905 to 1924, 19 years old. He overdosed on cocaine. And you got Paul Y. Anderson, 1893 to 1938, 45 years old, sleeping pills. So Francois Alsop, Abraham Angel, and Paul Y. Anderson, welcome to 2020, y'all. Pleasure to have you. Thank you guys for, tuning into the podcast one day at a time, Addict for Addicts. All feedback, please. There was a lot said today. I'm with it. Let me hear it. Thank you, y'all.